I don't necessarily need it in Kingdom Hearts anymore because they did World of Final Fantasy, and World of Final Fantasy is basically the Kingdom Hearts of Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
It merges all of them together. You get to see a lot of prominent characters from every game. Which is why I like it. World of Final Fantasy, whatever you have to say about its mechanics or anything like that, it's a nostalgia fest.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, it's a walking nostalgia fest. Hence why I've been kind of making pushes in the background for you and I to do some kind of a playthrough with it, since you have said that as soon as you're done with Zelda, you want to try out the Final Fantasy games.
Oh, yeah.
So
Get back into that.
Because even I'll admit, there are a lot of games now. There's 15 games. So at that point, that's a tall order to get people to. And I'm only talking about the official Roman numeral titles, okay? So, and one of them you can't even technically play because the servers no longer exist.
Yeah.
And that's 11. So, I mean, we're already talking about a lot of games, and then that's just the main canon games. That's not going into the side games, the sequels to games, things like that. Final Fantasy is a huge series, just like Zelda is. So at that point, you know, if I were to find something that would encapsulate all that Final Fantasy is to me, it would be World of Final Fantasy. Simply because, yes, it's got Pokemon-esque aspect, but it's the only one that I can think of, aside from maybe Dissidia, that lets you go and check out every world of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So see every aspect of it. You get to go to Midgard just as much as you get to go to Corneria in the original. Stuff like that. We have also been talking about other ways to be able to do that, but we'll keep that under our hat for now. So, I mean, kind of bringing things all back home, would I like to see Final Fantasy Worlds in Kingdom Hearts still? Sure. But here's the thing. I'm worried about that. That's why World of Final Fantasy kind of fixes that. If I was going to get my wish and Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy Worlds were to be in Kingdom Hearts, I could tell you which ones are going to get in. Or, I'm sorry, which one is going to get in, because everybody knows it. And look, 7's a great game in its own right. I'm kind of tired of it. There's too many games for 7. I'd rather see a bunch of my other favorite Final Fantasy games get sequels. So, spoiler alert, if there's going to be any Final Fantasy world that enters Kingdom Hearts 4, it's going to be Midgar. It's got to be Midgar. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You got quiet, so I was either you were waiting for me to finish because I was getting ranty, or
Rant.
you were still confused.
Oh.
Look, as a Final Fantasy fan, I can make a dozen recommendations about places that we could see. And that list would include Midgar. But there's so many 7-based games. I kind of want to go somewhere else. Because when you look at the grand scheme of things, Andrea, like, some Final Fantasy games have received, like, 1 sequel. Technically, 7 has received 4 to 5, maybe even 6 additions to its continuity. So it's received a movie, it's received a mobile game, a animation, or like an animation, or like an OVA, a sequel game, and the movie is technically a sequel, a prequel game, and a midquel. A game that's actually happening in the middle of the events of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm saying. 6 games in that continuity. The only thing that has numbers that high, being perfectly honest with everybody, probably either the continuity of 12, because Ivalice is everywhere, or 13, because 13 had a freaking trilogy. Like, 13 had 3 games based in its continuity. And if we counted, like, all the Ivalice games, to bring Andrea up to speed, Ivalice is the world in which you inhabit in Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
Okay? But technically, that's not the first time we went there. The first time Ivalice was created was back in the PlayStation days for Final Fantasy Tactics. So you have Final Fantasy Tactics, which is based in Ivalice. You have 12. You have another side game called Vagrant Story, which is also based in Ivalice. So that's 3. You have Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and that's 2 of those, so that makes 5. Even though technically in those you like make Ivalice,
Yeah.
but it's still based in Ivalice. And as Brinton just barely pointed out, as well as some listeners of the podcast, the next expansion, the 3rd expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, you're going to Ivalice.
Evilly.
So that's 6. 6 times.
Wow.
Yeah, 12 rivals 7. Which is sad because I like Ivalice's continuity, but I'm so tired of it. Can we get a game, like a sequel for 9? Can't we? Can we get we have a sequel for 4, so I'll give you that. Can we get a sequel to 6? No? How about 5? Well, technically there was a sequel anime for that. I wouldn't mind going to a sequel for 8. Just to see something different. Can't do 10. 10 has a sequel. Yeah, that pretty much covers it. I broke Andrea, by the way. She's just sitting here blankly going, he knows way too much.
He knows way too much.
That's why I'm saying, like, it would be great to have a Final Fantasy world in there, but there's only one that's being considered, and it's because it's Nomura's baby, and that's 7. Which is disappointing to me because, I mean, you could easily do a lot of different areas from Final Fantasy and be able to make it work within Kingdom Hearts. But I think what they're going to do instead is they're going to go more the angle of Square Enix-based worlds, not Final Fantasy-based worlds. Hence why we're getting The World Ends With You. So that's, and I think I've pointed this out in a previous recording when we did this. 2 worlds guaranteed are confirmed in Kingdom Hearts 4. World Ends With You, because obviously the trailers hint at that, and Midgar, because they have to advertise the 7 remake, and 7 is the most popular Final Fantasy game. If you're gonna do one Final Fantasy game, you're gonna do 7.
You really strongly think that Midgar will definitely make it?
I'm not saying definitely. It's going to. It's going to, because if we're doing what we did with Kingdom Hearts, where it was like, okay, one world based in this particular movie universe, if it has sequels or whatever, then Aladdin gets kind of what he's gotten in the previous games, where game 1 is just the plot of Aladdin.
Yeah.
And then, as you guys are going to find out when we get to 2, Agrabah's plot in 2 is basically Return of Jafar. So, like, the sequel movie, that's the plot of 2's Agrabah. The same thing will apply to Square Enix. Would I love to be proven wrong? Oh, you bet your ass. You bet your ass. I would love to see the Luna Subterrane in Kingdom Hearts. I would love to be able to see the... What could you do with 6? What could you do with 6? Probably the... maybe the floating continent in 6? Or, because you can't do Vector. Vector's too much like Midgar. I don't know. Well, there are places in every Final Fantasy world you could go to. The city has already proven this. Like, they found really great battlegrounds from every single Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So you could definitely do that. Do I expect Final Fantasy characters to be the spotlight of Kingdom Hearts 4? No. There's too much of a spotlight on Sora at this point, so there's really no reason to... Well, that and the... Okay, here's the other reason why I think Midgar will be a world in Kingdom Hearts 4. Because people think that there is a Cloud Sephiroth plot in this game, and I've literally looked at their interactions throughout these games and said, there's nothing. Nothing more than what I already know. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's kind of like, well, what did they expect those two to do, you know?
You put Cloud and Sephiroth into an environment, they're going to fight.
That's pretty much
That's
it.
what they're supposed to do. And that's fine. I'm completely fine with that. But I think, especially a lot of Kingdom Hearts YouTubers, you read too much into the plot that is given for Cloud and Sephiroth. It's meant to be vague because it's supposed to reference to their own plot. Okay? That doesn't necessarily mean that they have like this whole new subplot in Kingdom Hearts. No, this is the same rivalry, not rivalry, but the same malice and hatred they've had towards each other in other Final Fantasy games. There's nothing different here. Should I get off my soapbox? Would that help?
It's like, what else can you say?
That hasn't already been said?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I could make a dozen claims, but I'd rather just focus on like what other worlds can they do in Kingdom Hearts 4 that are Square Enix based. That's a harder question to answer. I actually thought of a third one, and that is instead of the 100-Acre Wood, I actually think that the Chocobo's Dungeon series will take the place of being kind of the hokey, cutesy world that gives you a lot of upgrades.
Yeah.
Because Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon it's not as popular here, but it's hugely popular in Japan. Like, the Chocobo has a life all its own in Japan. Same thing with Moogles.
Yeah.
So at that point, yeah, I totally see like Chocobo Mystery Dungeon stepping into that.
Ooh, I got a Moogle card.
See, that's where the problem kind of comes into play, is that I could mention a bunch of games that Square Enix has published, but hasn't worked on. So like, you know, you brought up, I know in a previous episode, like Tomb Raider. Like, you do Tomb Raider. Square Enix published it, but Crystal Dynamics made it. And I don't know how well that would mesh with Kingdom Hearts. It'd be really weird. I don't know if it's necessarily worth it for Sora to team up with Lara Croft.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be really weird. And kind of the same thing happens with any of the other companies that they work with. Could I see Hitman coming in? Not really. That's kind of the weird thing that they've kind of walked themselves into, is now you have to find out a bunch of games that kind of fit into the Kingdom Hearts dynamic. And that's harder. Square Enix has those games, but not a lot of them. And I don't think that this game is going to be based solely in Shibuya.
Oh, yeah.
And unless they somebody was pointing out to me, like, they've partnered with Atlas in the past. Atlas opens up a whole new slew of worlds that they could exploit.
Yeah.
I don't know how people are going to feel about that, though. Because Atlas is known right now for the Persona series. Persona's pretty dark at points. I know that it's got that anime aesthetic, so Sora mixing it up with Joker on paper sounds really awesome. I just don't know. I think Persona fans would be mad if it didn't go into the darker aspects of Persona. I would be too. That was kind of one of the things that irritated me with the first Kingdom Hearts, is I wanted to see them go into those darker character development moments that Final Fantasy games are known for.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really do that with kid stuff, you know? At the end of the day, you have to realize that this is about Disney stuff.
Yeah.
In regards to that, here's another question that a viewer did bring up to us, and I want to bring up to you.
Yeah.
Do we think it's responsible to just immediately rule out Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4?
I can't see that going very far, you know? Especially...
I think you could. I just don't know if you'd get any... Here's the thing that I can't seem to get past, and everything I've read tells me to not expect much from it.
I mean, if I could do a game without Kingdom Hearts, Disney World's in Kingdom Hearts 4, I probably could.
Well, that's not the question.
Well, yeah.
The viewer is basically asking, aren't we being irresponsible by immediately assuming that Disney World will not be in? And here's the bottom line. Here's what I know. From what I've been able to tell in articles that I've read, this was the first time where Disney and Square kind of butted heads over the Kingdom Hearts franchise, okay? Because trying to get worlds set up for it and all of the complications because Nomura was on way too many projects makes sense.
Yeah.
But I kind of get the point. Can we rule out any... Like, do we immediately just rule out Disney Worlds completely? I don't know. I don't want to go down that road. I think that you will eventually have them. I'm going to go ahead and say this, though. If you're looking for Marvel Cinematic Universe or Star Wars, there's the door. I'm not with you on these. Marvel's possible because Square Enix is working on an Avengers game. All right? So it's possible. They could do that. Star Wars, that's a harder pill to swallow. Because I kind of agree with our buddy Romney on this, that, man, it'd be really great to do Star Wars, but which Star Wars film do you want to do? Oh, noes. We've come across Evil Belle.
Who are you? Were you kidnapped too?
Not exactly. It's a long story, and it involves parking tickets. Oh no, not one of those again. Wait! So you've been kidnapped? You don't want to be here?
Yes. No, I don't really want to be here. That witch forced me to come here. I have no one to talk to. Books are all I have to ease my loneliness. Why would I want to? And then there's him. Oh, I missed him so much.
Didn't sound like it. You mean the Beast? Then why were you so mean to him before? I know, Goofy, seriously.
Because he didn't appreciate books. I mean, who does not like books?
He gave you the damn library! Yeah, you really hurt his feelings.
You don't understand. I can't let him see how I really feel.
Why not? Thank you, Sora. Thank you, Sora.
It's just that. He hates books.
He hates rattling noises.
Oh no, she's coming. Hide quickly.
No, we want an answer.
There's no time to explain. Quick, hide.
We're not good at this game.
It's what we call hide and seek.
The darkness calls. Oh, hi.
Oh, hello. To what do I owe this visit?
He was here, yes? He risked his life to come and save you. Why do you reject him?
I won't ask for his help.
Oh, and why is that?
Because he hates books.
And parking tickets.
I know very well why.
You know.
I'm not going to fall into your trap.
Then I have no choice but to make you beg for his help. Through Fellfire. Oh, wrong franchise. No, she got away! Well, what should we do? Help her, of course. What else? And there we go. Now we have a key of guidance. Now I guess we can continue this on. So, before people jump down my throat about Star Wars, okay? Here's the thing. You want a movie, okay? I want a movie too. But it's not us picking. It's Square Enix picking. And they're going to pick the movie that fits in with the themes of their game. Plus, Disney's going to encourage Square Enix to pick the most recent movie coming to advertise it. Okay? Look, I don't have a problem with The Force Awakens. I enjoyed it. I still enjoy watching it from time to time when I do.
Yeah.
However, the way that Disney would want this is that they would want them to do The Force Awakens, and I don't think that's where they should go. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you're going to do a Star Wars world, base it on A New Hope. Just base it there.